Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have the second to last interview with Robert in the life of Rascal. Before we get into it, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch is displayed directly under this video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and it matters. And now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's interview, shall we? All right, everybody. Tonight I have another follow-up interview with Robert. Robert is, of course, the gentleman from the Kentucky region. He raised a Dogman from a pup all the way up until he was full-grown Rascal. Robert, how are you tonight?
I'm doing okay.
I'm glad that you reached out again. Now, we had talked a little bit about the tornado of December down in the LBL. I figured that'd be kind of a good starting point before we jumped into your notes. So, if you don't mind sharing the information that you just shared with me, that'd be great.
Yeah. The night that was that Friday night on December the 10th, when that F4 tornado came down, it hit Mayfield head on. Now I was working. It hit Mayfield right at 6 o'clock. I got off work from the chicken factory there at 5:30, and I headed on home. Now, Mayfield is a town of 10 to 12,000 people. When it hit, it wiped out everything and drove huge gaps through the LBL, destroying everything in its path. Now, that left a whole lot of people homeless, as well as 57 killed. Now, what the Biden administration did when Biden came down to Mayfield, and nobody wanted him down here.
Okay.
Here's what he did. He sent 4,000 to 6,000 people to the Ken Lake Resort to stay there for 6 months. So, and sending 4,000 to 6,000 people in the LBL, as bad as things have gotten, is like ringing the dinner bell.
Yeah.
Now, here's what happened within 4 weeks. They found a little girl's head with just her spinal column. These officials had the gall to say, oh, a tornado did this. No. I would say a cryptid did this.
Yeah, you had said
her body was gone.
Yeah.
And the only thing was left was her head and the spinal column.
Yeah. And you said there was teeth marks on the spinal column.
Yeah. One of my friends who saw that said there's teeth on the spinal columns. Now, we saw this on the internet a little bit, but it was taken off.
Okay.
I read a little bit on the on what they call Newsweek or something like that. Anyhow, it's one of these real small news things on the internet. And I read a little bit about it. Then I was going to go back to it and read up the rest, and it was gone. I couldn't find it. I couldn't even find it anywhere. I even jotted down the death at the LBL, close to the LBL tornadoes, and there was nothing on there.
Huh. Yeah.
Now there was 2 other teenagers that parts of their bodies were on the riverbank of Lake Barkley, close to Princeton. And nothing was, and it's like the authorities shut all that down real fast.
Yeah, they have to. Like we had
Yeah,
said, it's they want to keep that quiet because of tourism.
yeah,
It's insane. Now,
yeah,
how you had said something about Dogmen and how they managed to survive through that tornado.
yeah, yes. And through all that bad weather, here's what they did. They went to their underwater caves and stuff. They don't, and they're excellent swimmers. What they did, they went deep, deep underground,
Okay.
just like all the other cryptids.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that they,
Yeah,
so. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting news that you shared, with me. So I figured why not share it as well.
yeah,
Now you have everything laid out for tonight's.
yes.
So I'm just going to turn the mic over to you so you can share the way you want to.
Okay. Okay, hello everyone. What I want to share with everybody first is how the Dogman family unit, how they function, and the differences between them and the Bigfoot clan. In the Dogman clan, first of all, they usually have 10 to a family unit, just a normal family unit. You have a alpha male and an alpha female, plus 2 or 3 mating pairs with 2 pups each, one and each one juveniles, and then you have 2 elderly or the old mating pair that no longer mate. The main difference between the Dogman and Bigfoot clans is like the Dogmen do not kill or run their elderly off. Instead, the old and elderly mating pair that are too old to hunt or mate, they help out the alpha female, take care of the dens and the pups, right along with the birthing mothers. In the role of the alpha male, his job is to protect, hunt, and scout the clan's territory. The alpha female controls the clan, and she chooses the mating pairs because dogmen mate for life. The old dogmen, they teach the young and the juveniles how to swim, climb, hunt, and fish. In the hunting packs, there's usually 2 male and 2 female dogmen. The juveniles usually come with them unless 1 or 2 of the females are pregnant, and then the juveniles stay with the expecting mothers at the birthing dens to protect them. The Dogman clan always have 5 dens: a birthing den, and 2 living dens, and a care den for the sick and young, and 1 den apart that's a kind of a part off for the dying and the dead dogmen. And to me, this is how intelligent and organized the dogmen are. And they, when Rascal showed me this, I was just amazed.
Yeah. Now, what do you mean he showed you? How did he show you the?
He and Lucy got together with a group of them, and that group is still since Lucy and Rascal no longer alive. That group is still kind of like hanging around our family homestead, which I'm kind of glad of.
Okay.
Now, the juveniles are also used as sentries to guard the Dogman clan. That was, to me, is always kind of cool. Now, the Bigfoot clan, well, they're totally different from the Dogman. The Bigfoot clan uses instinct and kind of like a pecking order alone. The Bigfoot clan is kind of large. They go from anywhere from 10 to 30 in a clan. This comprises of alpha male controlling the whole doggone clan. I mean, and the bad thing with it is alpha male is the only one who mates with all the females who are of mating age. None of the other males of mating age are allowed to mate. If they try to mate with a female, they're usually killed or driven out of the clan. The alpha male Bigfoot uses the young males to expand their territory to hunt and search for and to capture and rape single female dogman, which the young male Bigfoots takes turns. These violent hybrids that everybody hears about because of the mixed blood. If a male Bigfoot or female Bigfoot is too old to hunt or defend the clan, they're driven off or they're killed. and if a female Bigfoot is too old to mate or give birth, she's killed outright, which is the same for a captured female dogman. They're killed outright too. Now, the hunting differences of both these clans. The hunting is this: the Bigfoot clans, more or less, they're opportunist hunters, or more or less scavengers. If a Bigfoot sees pets, livestock, or even unaware people, such as children, hikers, or hunters, they'll get them at each opportunity that they can. To them, if it's easy, it's a meal.
Yeah.
And you'll also see Bigfoot, they'll scavenge through brush piles, they'll scavenge through your garbage and everything. And of course, you have these trash barrels and stuff that people, put trash in and food that they're not eating, and they'll burn that. Well, shoot, Bigfoot will definitely get into that and scatter it all over the place. Now, dogman clans, they're way different. They're ambush hunters. They pick and choose their prey, which is usually any type of deer, elk, caribou, to eat. Dogmen are very, very thorough hunters and are way better hunters than Bigfoot. Now, the communications, Bigfoot, they communicate by howls, tree knocks, and rock banging. Dogmen communicate by form of infrasound and telepathy. Now, attack form. Now, the Bigfoot will use infrasound, their strength, and burst speed to attack, which is usually a head-on attack.
Okay.
Dogman, they'll use their infrasound, but they prefer ambush with a combination of strength, speed, and power. Now, caring for their clans and stuff, Bigfoot alpha males, they leave the burden to the care to the female Bigfoot, and usually leave the young males and younger juveniles to defend for themselves, and they'll kill any of their clan that are too old or unable to care for themselves.
Yeah, I remember you saying that to me. I think it was last week, and I found that kind of odd because that's usually reverse of what we hear.
Yeah. Now, caring for their clan of dogmen is way different. They care for their old, and they care for their juveniles, and they teach the juveniles to do the same for the same people in the for their same members of the clan, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because the juvenile females, right along with certain juvenile male dogmen, are taught to care for their young and everything else. That's why they fiercely defend. And this is why I thought it's kind of cool. Now, what's good about the Dogman, they actually teach their young and a little bit older males, and the alpha female commands them to take care of the dens and the very, very young. The old Dogman help out the alpha female cleaning the dens out and caring for the young and sick. The young male and females that are at mating age, they keep a close lookout and they guard the dens. That's what I see as kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like each member of the group, juvenile, young adult, and elderly, each classification has a job to do. That's what I see as intelligence.
Yeah, definitely.
They each have chores. They each have a chore to do. Now the next thing I'm going to come up with is the LBO incidents with Rascal and Lucy.
Okay.
The first incident with Rascal and Lucy, I may have gone over this already, but anyhow, we'll go over it again a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you did.
Okay. Well, this was in 1997 during gun season for deer. We were in the Kentucky side of the LBL. This was about 5 a.m. in the morning when a thick fog came rolling in off from the lakes. Well, me, Dad, and Grandpa were in a semicircle formation sitting on the ground on Kentucky side close to the canal. Rascal and Lucy were bringing in a good sized herd of deer to us. I shot a spiked buck that was about 250 pounds. Dad and Grandpa each got a doe, with Rascal bringing down one doe and Lucy bringing down a 6-point buck. We all loaded our deer in back of the trucks, and after we dressed them out and stuff, then we went back to our campsite with Lucy and Rascal following us in the back. About 7 o'clock in the morning, the sky became real dark and it started snowing. We built our campfires to keep warm and to wait out the storm. Rascal laid down with me, and I had our weather radio on. Lucy laid down next to Dad and Grandpa. During that time, as we were resting, Rascal and Lucy became real alert because there was something outside our tent, and it was moving through our camp and going around my truck. Well, there's real heavy footsteps, and it sounded like snorting and moaning, and it sounded like something was sniffing in the air. We heard, and that's when we saw something unzipping the door to our tent. Lucy and Rascal immediately went through that tent door outside, and both of them gave out real loud war howls, and what we found out later was three 8-foot brown type 2 conehead Bigfoot going through our camp. The Bigfoot started giving out these loud screams, and boy, they started running away from our camp with Lucy and Rascal running after them. 2 of the Bigfoot got badly injured, with one dying in the fight with Lucy and Rascal. Rascal had a few claw marks on his left shoulder, and Lucy had some bite marks on her left side, which, well, they weren't too bad, but we quickly broke camp. About 11 o'clock that morning, we headed back with our deer and to doctor up Rascal and Lucy's wounds. That night, my stepmom, my sister, and my girlfriend cooked us an excellent meal. We slept all whole night until early next morning, staying inside as the snow began to fall. And they pumped Lucy and Rascal full of a whole lot of antibiotics and all that. Where these daggone Bigfoot, I have no idea where they came from.
Right.
Second incident was in late in the summer of 1998, in the middle of June. We were on a 2-day fishing trip for catfish. First day, me, Dad, and Grandpa, we caught well over 5 tubs of catfish. Rascal definitely helping out when he waded out deep in the lake, and he's pulling out several 40 to 60 pound catfish each. We cleaned all the fish. We put them all in the dry ice containers and stuff, and there was a lot of them. With Lucy and Rascal watching over us that night, the camp, we just had dinner and settled down. The woods at the time was sort of uneasy, quiet. Lucy and Rascal were alert all night long. Nothing happened at all that night. But we stocked up the campfires for added protection because we were getting ready. The next morning, more or less, went back to normal. We started fishing for more catfish, with Lucy laying between Dad and Grandpa, and Rascal with me. When we filled up the tubs full of catfish again, that's when I heard something like someone was throwing rocks in the lake. When I heard that, Rascal and Lucy were both snarling and growling, looking out across the lake. And I turned around and looked on the other side. On the far side, there was 2 young juvenile top 1 black Bigfoot, about 5 or 6 foot tall each, and they were tossing rocks at us. Dad and Grandpa and me each grabbed our tubs of catfish and threw them in the back of the trucks real quick, with Lucy and Rascal standing bipedal in defense. Suddenly, I looked up on the rising bank and back of us in the woods, and there was this huge 7 to 8 foot female top 4 Bigfoot with bright red eyes and jagged teeth. This huge female hissed at us. Lucy immediately ran up in there and challenged this female. Rascal occupied with the other 2. As Lucy faced off with this female, it started using that samurai chatter.
Okay.
Like it was either talking or warning Lucy. I don't know what this damn Bigfoot said, but Lucy doubled up her fist and she fully backhanded this damn thing and knocked this Bigfoot on her face. As that Bigfoot lay on the ground, and it was hurt. Lucy then, she jumped up and down and stomped on that Bigfoot's head several times until it wasn't moving. Rascal ran the other 2 juvenile Bigfoot off. Then as Rascal returned to us real quickly, we loaded our fish and we very quickly got home. And it was one of the best French fries ever. But it's like this, I don't know where that damn alpha Bigfoot, that male, I don't know where he was. I guess he couldn't take on Lucy and Rascal.
Right.
I'm like, what in the heck? Well, this next incident was the last time we had an incident with these damn rakes or crawlers.
Okay.
This is on the edge of my family's homestead, right on the Cumberland River next to the LBL. Rascal and I was fishing for bass and catfish, and Lucy was at home with Teresa and the rest of the family at the time, and Dad and Grandpa was real bad sick. And as me and Rascal caught one full of tub of bass and another full tub of catfish, huge blue cats and a few channel cats. As we finished up and it was getting hot and late in the morning, Rascal turned around and started growling. And then he gave a warning back. I turned around and I saw this 5-foot, pale, black-eyed rake running straight at us. This was the biggest damn rake I've ever seen in my life. Rascal went at this rake and cut it in half with its claws, killing it instantly, but not before the creature bit him in the arms. I mean, I've never seen Rascal get this mad in my life, and he just slammed both pieces of this rake into the ground. He stomped them both in the ground and he threw them in the daggum river. I got so scared. First thing I did, I called Dad, and I rushed. And of course, my grandpa got up and he was kind of like in shock, and he was kind of scared. I got Rascal home. Lucy was just having fits when she saw Rascal. Grandpa put his arms around Lucy, said, "Honey, it'll be all right. Just let the girls work on him." And Teresa, my sister, and Amanda, they set to pumping him up full of anti-venom shots. That is kind of like antibiotics. They were also giving him several rabies shots. They were cleaning his whole arm, from his shoulder all the way down to his wrist and his hand. I mean, you could really smell the alcohol too. They were really working on him. They had him lay down.
Okay.
And Rascal, he kind of looked sick, but after they worked on him and stuff, he started feeling better within 2 or 3 days. He's back to his usual stuff, but that really scared me bad. And 2 weeks after that, my grandfather went to sleep, and he never woke back up. Rascal and Lucy started these long crying howls, and they did that for at least 2 days. We finally were able to calm them down and stuff. Then after that, that's where later from that week, all the way up until Rascal's death, we had no contact with any of the cryptids at all.
Okay.
The next thing I want to go over with everybody is the telepathic connection between me and Rascal. This is what I would call mind speak between us. It's a telepathic communication or mind speak between me and Rascal, because it came to me in a dream state, and then later with our eyes meeting, which really helped out on patrols between me and Rascal, and hunting and fishing and camping. And it was like this. During our dream state, I mean, we're talking like we are now, but I could actually understand his speech when he would be speaking to me. And I asked him a couple of quite a few questions, which I'm going to here's what I asked him. I asked Rascal, where did your people come from and where are they? That's the first question I asked him. Rascal told me that his kind came from a great garden from the first time began when they lived in peace and harmony with all life, before the fallen ones came and the great cleaning water, which drove them to a jungle underground world where they live at now. To me, this meant his people lived side by side Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden and were driven to the second earth or underground at Noah's flood. And that's what kind of like my grandfather explained. And I asked Rascal, what do you call yourselves and what are your thoughts of humans? Rascal told me his people are called Lyrica, or spiritual canine people of the night who wish to live peacefully and live alone with nature. Rascal also told me his people do fear us for the most part of our power to destroy, but many do love us and carry a bond because of the canine in them. Rascal also told me he would never leave me and my family because of the permanent family bond. We were his family. And I asked him another question. What does his kind think of Bigfoot and other cryptids? Rascal's answer to me on this was this. Most of his kind hates 90% of all cryptids, especially Bigfoot and other cryptids, because they are the Nephilim and demons wanting to control and destroy this world. He said, yet there are a few of his kind that live peacefully with certain Bigfoot in other areas because they didn't harm any humans and want to be left alone. And I asked Rascal, what about his people's culture? Rascal told me his people's culture is a natural spirit bond of a small family unit whose culture is living in harmony with nature and a light-bound spiritual energy. He said each individual has his or her own nature and spirit energy, and so much like people, but they want to stay away from everyone to live in their own lives in peace. I asked him, why do some of these dogmen turn bad? Rascal's answer is very direct in this. He said, because of the greed and hate and envy and bad energy in this world and the taste of blood, which derives from a different form of honey. He said, once his kind becomes evil or a rogue, they are given only one chance to return to the good. He said, if not, they are punished and killed outright. And for the most part, me and Rascal stayed connected telepathically a lot. It made us the best hunters and the best friends ever. When I felt troubled, hurt, or sad, I could always come to him, and the same for him. I could always come to Rascal, and Rascal would do the same for me. We supported each other totally, and the telepathic link to me was very important on our patrols on the family homestead. In many ways, Rascal shared telepathic links mostly with Grandpa, my sister, and my girlfriend. Rascal shared like a fatherly bond with Grandpa, and then he shared a mother-like bonds with my sister and my girlfriend. So he shared some real deep bonds with me and my family. And it was about this time in, I think, early spring of 1999, yeah, that Rascal and Lucy had a second set of pups.
Okay.
Now, but Lucy, she kept the pups more or less in that stable shed. Now, we kept it clean and everything for the pups, and we made sure she got milk and all that. But here's the thing, she always kept the pups away from all of us, which, I felt like, okay, no problem and all that. And the pups kind of grew. And I noticed that Lucy and Roscoe were teaching them pups what we taught them, which is a good thing. Of course, these pups are very, very young, and they never did get the shots or anything like Rascal and Lucy did, because I'm guessing they just didn't want us, I think Lucy wanted those pups, kind of like, so they can fend for themselves and not have to rely on all of us, which is, I see as a good thing.
Right.
One was male and one was female. The female, I know she was going to grow to be like Rascal. But the male, he was going to stay kind of thin like his mom. Now, those pups,
now with
they're somewhere in the LBL now.
When you say short or thin, because Lucy was shorter as well.
Yeah.
What did the male or the female take after, or were they both tall like Rascal? You've seen them.
The male took off after his mother. The female, she took off kind of like Rascal.
So the male was a lot shorter?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was about 5'5".
Okay.
The female was about 6-7 foot like Rascal. And it's like this. Lucy took them while they were weaned and stuff. She took them back to the LBL with the group that her and Rascal stayed with a lot. And then Lucy came back. Like, okay, so they're taking care of the pups. The groups, Bigfoot group's taking care of the pups. While Lucy and Rascal stayed with us. Why was that? I don't know. So I didn't question it, so.
Right.
But the pups did come and visit off and on, which was good. So I'm thinking about this. They were keeping all the cryptids, believe it or not, in the LBL and off our family homestead. That's the only reason I could bring it out.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just like, I kind of felt sad because I was really looking forward to having those pups live with us too.
Right. Yeah, that's strange, because like Rascal had communicated with you, like you said, that, family pack, this, and that.
Yeah.
And what he and Lucy had showed you, yet they take these two pups and separate them from the family pack. That's strange.
Yeah. I think it mostly has done with Lucy because to me she was still partly wild.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, he's the alpha male, but she's the alpha female. She's in control. So that I understood.
Right.
I also understood in my thoughts in this, those pups if something were to happen to us, those pups got to learn how to survive anyhow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the last time I saw Lucy was spring of this year. And of course, she died a little bit after that, my cousin told me. I was paying the insurance on my van, the yearly insurance on my van. And I was passing through family homestead and stuff, just checking it out, and I wanted to put flowers on Rascal's grave. Well, as I was going through the woods and stuff, driving up through our road and stuff, real slow, I saw something kind of real brown going across the field, and I had my window down, and I didn't realize, and I called out her name. That brown shape stopped, and I turned around, and lo and behold, yes, it was Lucy, and she was way, way older. And she recognized my voice and came right up to my van. I hugged her, and she let me know everything was all right. She said, and she let me know that the pups were happy in the LBL, away from everybody else, which I'm glad of that. Then a few weeks later, my cousin, who's living at my mom and dad's house, said they found Lucy laying by Rascal's gravesite, and she had passed away. And we buried her at the persimmon trees that was in our backyard. That was in his backyard.
Okay. Now, how long past the point of Lucy? So, when did Rascal pass away?
Rascal passed away in November of 2000.
Okay. So she lived 22 years after he did.
Yeah.
Would he pass away of?
He passed away
because he wasn't that old.
He passed away from a parvo type virus.
Okay. Yeah, because he was not that old at all.
No.
Hmm.
Because when my sister and girlfriend took blood samples, and they looked in and they said, this is a parvo type virus, which I'll explain in the next interview. We fought so long and so hard to keep him alive.
Right.
I mean, he couldn't keep down anything. He couldn't even keep food down. He would throw it back up. He would even throw up water. And there was a point in time he couldn't even use the bathroom, urinate, or any other, because he just didn't have the strength, and he was just, it was like he's wasting away real quick, just dry. It looked like his whole body was drying up.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Now, you had shown me a picture of where his gravesite was.
Yes.
So she was right there, like lying.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys do the two male and female pups, now that they're grown up a lot more, I'm assuming they're got to be at least in their 20 years old at least.
Yeah.
Have they come to your property?
No, they haven't.
Okay. When did Lucy push them out into the wild? How old were they?
Few months when they were able to walk bipedal. She took them back to the Dogman clan that her and Rascal took over.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's too bad. Now, did Rascal act a certain way when the pups were brought back to the wild? Could you see like a sadness, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit of sadness, and I asked Rascal why they hadn't leave, and he says they have to go to the kind. He says, but I'm staying with you.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's sad. That's too bad. So,
But if Grandpa was still alive, I would say things would be a little bit different.
yeah. Yeah. Cuz he had passed away what, about a couple years?
He passed away in 1998.
Okay, and the
This was
pups.
not, and this is 1999.
Okay, yeah. All right. So Rascal passed away shortly after, a couple years after your granddad passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then
there.
in 2000, and then after Rascal passed away in 2001, my stepmom, my sister, and my girlfriend, who was pregnant with my first child, was going to be our first child with little Sally. They died, and they died when a dump truck hit them on the Tennessee River Bridge and knocked them down the riverbank.
Oh, geez, that's terrible. I'm sorry.
And then me and Dad went to a real bad depression from 2001 to 2004. And he died on the boat of a heart attack.
Wow.
And then I just couldn't take it anymore, and I just sold the house to my cousins, and I just left.
Yeah.
There's just too much.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Now, do you ever go out to the LBL and look for these?
Pups?
Yeah.
No.
You'd never done that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And it's like this. I don't venture out in the LBL anymore. When Rascal passed away, I stopped hunting and fishing and camping.
Right.
It was like, I don't know what, it just,
Yeah. Yeah. Now.
Oh, I can move to the LBL just fine.
Right.
A whole lot better than other people. But I'm still not going out there. I'm sorry. Not even during the daytime in the morning. No.
Right. Right. Now, here's a question. You were able to meet the family, the Dogman family, you had said. Now, what do you think? Do you think they would be able to recognize you? That family?
Actually, yes.
Okay. By the smell and
Because
stuff?
they've got huge memories.
Okay.
Because I hadn't seen Lucy in so long, and last spring when I saw her, it shocked me, and I called her name. She turned around there and saw me. She came up to me because she recognized my voice and hugged me.
Take your time. I'm sorry. It's hard, I know.
It's okay. Because on the day of Rascal's death, she stayed with me for a week. Because I was in mourning so bad. Then she said, I have to leave. And then she left with the pups. And that was the last time I saw her until last spring.
Wow.
Then when she came up to me, I rolled down the van door and opened up the van door, and the first thing she does is wrapped her arms around me and hugged me, and I hugged her. I asked her if she was all right and everything. She said she's doing good. She says both pups are doing real well, and they have families of their own. So that made me happy.
Yeah.
She said they're safe.
Wow. Yeah.
And then that's the last I saw of her. And I went home.
Well, I'm sorry that, I mean, you had a wonderful life with Rascal and Lucy, but at the end it's hard. I'm sorry for all that. But at least you got to experience something most people don't.
Yeah.
So
if I was able to go back in time, back to 1985, I'd do it all over again, and this time I'd stay there forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people would, if they could go back in past and stay, but yeah, I understand. So, just to get the subject to a different kind of mood, next interview will probably be the last. I know that you had said you've kind of got some notes panned out for, what you wanted to share.
Yeah.
You want to kind of give us a preview of what this is going to be about, the next interview?
Yeah. Well, preview of the last one is going to be Rascal's death, and that's going to be kind of really hard.
Okay.
Then I've made up some guidelines of safety dealing with Dogman, which I follow myself. And then I'll be letting everyone know about my grandfather's memoirs, what he knew about these cryptids in each one. And I'll be letting everybody know about what my dad knew about Dogman and how in the areas he was, and how he and his friend were able to commune with Rascal's father and mother and the places they were at, and how they snuck Rascal home to me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to all that. That's going to be very interesting. Especially, I think your grandfather's kind of memoir, I guess you'd call it, a little bit of that, because that's going to be very interesting as well.
Yeah, because he held so much in that he really didn't tell me about, but I wrote down what he did tell me about.
Right.
And Dad, what he knew about Dogman, and what he knew about these, I'm going to say underground places, they're scary as hell.
Yeah.
And I do mean they're scary. Because what he told me, this still gives me nightmares. Bad.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that, and I'm sure everyone else will be.
I'm still want to know, what the hell was our government doing for so long? Because this has got to come up with some sort of DNA experiments that we've all heard about throughout the years.
Yeah.
And then what Dad tells me just kind of put some concrete on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'll be looking forward to hearing that, because I am very fascinated with that myself.
Yeah.
So, well, it was wonderful having you on to share this with us. Do me a favor, don't hang up. I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes after.
I loved it.
I'm glad, and I'm sorry that you had to bring up some heart-feeling stuff, but I appreciate that as well, and I'm sure others will too. So, all right, don't hang up. I'll talk to you shortly. All right, thank you, Robert, for coming on. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. I loved it.
All right, guys, I hope you all enjoyed today's upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. And like I said, second to last interview, the follow-up and final interview with Robert about the life of Rascal will be Tuesday. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. And once again, may the Great Spirit watch over us all. May He guide us down that path that we call life.